What's going on, everybody? I hope you guys are having a good day. I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins from Your Black World and the Black Business School. And today we're going to have a really fun conversation because we're actually going to talk about money and how to make money. And you guys have asked me about this a lot. You've asked me, what are some ways to add extra income? And we're going to do that today. And so today, my special guest that is honoring us with her presence is Danielle Pierce from FlyNewBigQueenTV.com, as well as EconomicElevation.com. And she is a financial expert, a real estate expert, and just an awesome all-around Black woman. So I'd like to ask Danielle, how are you doing today?
I'm doing awesome, Dr. Boyce. How are you doing today?
I'm doing extremely well, extremely well. I'm excited about the topic. I think it's one that helps a lot of our folks in terms of kind of getting moving and it seems like it comes from this idea of making a little bit of extra money. I can see where it would come from you because from what I know about you, you're kind of able to fit into that hustler category. Like that Nipsey hustle, like Danielle hustle kind of thing, where you kind of know how to sort of make things happen.
Yeah.
About that?
Yeah, I tell people all the time, like, I'm not the entrepreneur to sit up here and tell you that it's always been great and I've always been killing the game, because it literally took 5 years was like struggle, like making no money at all, making way less money than when I left corporate. 6 years when I finally, 5 years to replace my corporate salary, 6 years to finally hit that, quote unquote, 6-figure mark. That's supposed to be like the holy grail. And then, of course, ever since that point, I've been, doing pretty well. But literally the first 5.5 years, I had to do a lot of the things that we're going to talk about today, side hustles, because it was rough. I wasn't successful. I wasn't, making money as an entrepreneur. I tried to go back into corporate. I couldn't get a job. I was really, really struggling out there. And I just want to be as transparent as possible about that, because shit ain't easy. Everybody make it seem like, oh, it's so easy. You just get out, you do, you make money online, you set up these businesses and you're going to do well. And it really takes a lot in order to turn that curve and be successful.
I will say that it's really important, I think, for entrepreneurs to be honest about their struggle, because everybody thinks that it's just sort of this easy, simple, straightforward path to the destination, and it's just not. Even when you make it, it's almost like you replace old problems with new problems. And so having the right perspective is always important. Like, even where I am now, I don't know if people look at me as a guy who's made it or who's still getting there. I have no idea, but I do know that that there's always problems. That's one thing I can confirm. And then two, having an upward trajectory is always important, right? Being optimistic, looking forward and up, never looking down, never looking back, not worrying so much about your mistakes. Focus on your opportunities, focus on ways you can make things better. And I think that's an important message for people to kind of understand as they begin their journey, because that's what helps you just not give up, because you would think that, it's more tempting to give up when you're at the bottom and nothing's going on, but it's actually quite tempting to give up when you're right in the middle of the mix, because you get there, you reach a new level. It's like going from playing college basketball to the NBA, and then suddenly all the players are better and the defenses are tougher and it's harder to score, and so you have a choice. Do I rise to the occasion, or do I just settle for mediocrity? And I say in business, it's the same thing. Like, you get to a point where you're like, wait a minute, I got to have lawyers now. Now I got to do this, and now I got to do that, and you're learning a whole new game every single step. And so perspective is important. Can you kind of speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. The perspective is everything. I know that I see a lot of people, and I'm specifically talking to y'all Black folks today, so y'all bear with me, okay? I'm not bashing anybody. This is out of love. But I see advertisements on social media all the time. And then I'll see the comments and people will be like, oh, why, if you making so much money, why are you still promoting this business? If you making so much money, why are you doing this? Blah, 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 blah. And here is that's such a lack, a mindset of lack, because I look at it this way. Coca-Cola is the most widely recognized trademark logo on the planet. It doesn't get any better than Coca-Cola. Ask me how much Coca-Cola spent on advertising last year. $18 billion. $18 billion, and they're at the top. Like, no, the second the Second place is way, way far behind them. They still ran up $18 billion in advertising. So what does that tell someone like myself? You keep going. It doesn't, you can't get comfortable, because the minute you get comfortable, somebody's coming behind you to take your spot. And then it costs money to stay on top too. So once you get to a certain level, like you said, you do need attorneys, you need contracts, you need trusts and wills and all this shit. Like you have to take care of things. Like you got to put on your grown woman panties or your big boy drawers and kind of actually literally make stuff happen, as opposed to just be, out here playing around. So yeah, totally agree.
Yeah, yeah. Well, everybody who's watching, I'm talking to Danielle Pierce, and we're talking about easy ways to make an extra $1,000 a month. If you are just tuning in, you're at drboycetv.com, the home for intelligent Black people. So if you're not Black and intelligent, you might want to get the hell out. I used to say get the fuck out, but I'm trying. I promise I try to cuss a little less, especially in the morning, because people bring their kids and all that. So, but I mean, I cuss in front of the kids. My daddy cussed in front of me. So it's just it's like a cycle of dysfunction that just kind of exists in our family. But it is what it is. But if you're watching, I want you to do this for me also. Please shout out your city, shout out your business, and or shout out your dream. So either one of the three, two of the three, or all of the three. Your city, your business, or your dream. I want to see where you guys are coming from, and I want you to cite your dreams out loud so we can make those dreams come true. I see Aprilla's in here, DF, Levante, Donna, Kiantis, One Law Thoughts. How are you? Wahid, how are you? Sheila says, I always say there's a time and place. You're good. Yeah, I agree. There's a time and a place, and I'm so politically incorrect and so inappropriate, and that's just the nature of who that's the guy you're dealing with. So let's see, Stacy Doe from Atlanta, Don from Newark, Dave, Boston, Shanetta, Colorado. Yes, please hit the like button, says DJ Yo. Thank you very much. Please hit the like button if you haven't done that yet, because when you like and share, it pushes the conversation. We're promoting Black intelligence to contrast Black ignorance, because y'all know ignorance is being fed to you every day on the radio, being fed to you every day at school. It's being fed to you every day in corporate America, being fed on a lot of universities now. So we need to get rid of that, and we need to fight back, and we're fighting back through independent Black-owned, intelligent Black media. So please hit that thumbs up button if you believe in what you're watching right now. If you are part of this this movement, please hit the thumbs up button and share button. We would really appreciate that. I see Charlotte, Louisville, Jenkintown, suburb of Philly, Fort Gordon, Georgia, Chicago, Dallas, Detroit, from Torrey. I see what other cities? I see Indianapolis, Dallas again, Douglasville, Georgia, Columbus, Ohio, San Francisco, St. Paul, London. All right, Ann's from London. We always have people from London, Miami. So we always have people from Black London is great. Have you ever been to London before, Danielle?
I have not been to London, but there are quite a few people who watch me that are from London, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, first of all, two things about London you should know. One, beautiful city. It's my second favorite city on earth behind Shanghai. Shanghai is beautiful too. Second thing is Black London is really lit. Like, those people are amazing. They're super smart. They're so deeply connected to what happens here. A lot of us here don't know nothing about what's going on in London, which we should be ashamed of. Actually, we should pay attention to what Black people around the world are going through. But they're very aware, very in tune with all the issues that we face, all the things that we're going through. When I went to London, I was excited and embarrassed by the fact that I had so much support there, and I hadn't processed that yet. But when I was there and I saw the people, and I saw all the people, like, we had our event totally sold out. The line for people to get book signed was like 2 hours long, like hundreds of people in line to get their book signed. And I was just humbled. I was like, my God, I mean, I was embarrassed. I felt bad. I said, I should know more about what you're dealing with in London, because you guys love me and I appreciate that. And in fact, actually, this is a personal story. When I was in the airport, I don't know if you guys remember, anybody remember the shit that I had in London where I got to the airport and I landed and they detained me for 10 hours? Because I was there to, like, educate Black people, I guess, and that makes me like some sort of a threat or something. So they detained me in this room for 10 hours. Could not use my cell phone, none of that. I grabbed my cell phone to try to, like, text somebody. They snatched the phone out of my hand. Like, it was like that real. And so anyway, they finally got me out. And when I got to the when they took my passport, they said, you have to leave on Tuesday. They took my passport away. And so I was there for 3 days. And when it was time to go, I had to get my passport back, and I had to go through all this stuff to get my flight. It was like a big mess, because for some reason I just got flagged by their immigration or whatever, right? So when I was trying to figure out what to do, I was totally lost, didn't know where to go. there was a white lady taking care of me, a nice white lady, and she was like, okay, well, let me see, and blah, blah, blah. And a black lady overheard me explaining my situation. And she said, go ahead, Sally, I got this, right? So I go over to the black woman who's going to take care of me, right? So this sister, British accent, a British sister was taking care of me. And then she says something random like, she says, oh yeah, I'm sorry I had to miss your event. My son had a karate exhibit that day or something. And I was like, and she didn't make a big deal out of it. She didn't mention like, oh yeah, I know about you. She almost apologized for not coming, and I had no idea she even knew who I was, right? And so I'm like, oh well, your family, great, it's good to see you. I feel so good now. I feel safe now because I was afraid, right? So she helps me out and takes me down to this place I had to go, and then she hands me off to another black woman who's basically like, oh, don't worry, I'll take care of him. I've got him. And
Yeah.
you know, that made me, that sounds, I don't know if that sounds like a stupid story or not, or whatever, or I sound like a complete clown for the fact that it made me emotional. But you know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of all the times in the last 400 years or longer that black women have just had our back when nobody else did. You know what I mean? When they were just like, I got you, baby, I'm gonna feed you. We're gonna protect you. We're not gonna let them come lynch you. You know what I mean? Like it was like really, it made me feel good that these two black women all the way across the ocean were like, we gonna take care of this black man.
That's what
So
we do.
that just seeing London sparked all those thoughts. I know it's a little bit of a deviation from the conversation, but I had to and to just say like thank you to all the black women, the strong black women who really, who just have our backs despite the fact that sometimes we're not as perfect as we want to be. But I encourage all the brothers to just do better for those women in your life that have your back. Start with your grandma. Okay, so anyway, now let's get back to the topic. Okay, so Danielle, being the financial expert and financial genius that you are, you actually wanted to talk a little bit about ways to make an extra $1,000. So as we get started, like why do you think that that's important to kind of know how to make like that little bit of extra money?
It's important because the average American cannot come up with $400, $500 in the event of a dire emergency. So what does that mean? Let me play that out because I know exactly what it feels like because I've been there. So something breaks down in your car and you need a new AC compressor, or you need to have a new set of tires. Tires cost, these days, depending on the type of car you have, about $300, $400, $500. And so the average American, and especially I'm not just talking about just Black folks, but the average American can't put their hands on $500 in the event of a dire emergency. And then for the average Black family, obviously it's even more dire than that. So the ability to come up with an extra $1,000 per month could be everything to so many people. And I kind of take for granted a lot of the stuff that I've picked up over the years because people tell me that, oh, you make everything sound easy, and it's not easy. I'm like, well, it kind of is easy, but just based on this information economy, based on the accessibility of items, of things that are out there for us to make money, like it is crazy what you can do with your cell phone now. So one example that I've actually done is you can go out and be an apartment mystery shopper. So basically you pretend like you're going to, rent an apartment, and you evaluate the leasing age, and you evaluate the grounds, you evaluate how clean the property is. They pay anywhere from like $40 to $75. And you can do, they won't start you off with 10 per month, but they'll let you do a couple per week until you build up and you show that you're actually going to do them. So that right there can get you a quick $400 or $500 per month just doing that. And then there's property inspections. Of course, my background is real estate. Always has been. So for the last 12 years, I've been a full-time real estate entrepreneur. All I do is real estate. I was gonna say all I do is weird, like what's the name, but all I do is real estate. And so what I found over the years is just a lot of little pathways that you can use to, kind of build up money to get to a point where you can be like a tax lien investor. Because so many people say, I want to invest in tax liens. Well, that does cost money, right? But if you want to build up to that point, then you might do property inspections until you get to that point. So for example, I actually just did an insurance inspection the other day, $75, and it literally took me maybe 15 minutes to do it, plus the drive time, which is another 20 minutes. So I did that, done deal, $75. But then just the typical everyday property inspection, you just drive by, see if the property is occupied, take some photos. They pay anywhere from like $10 to $25. So not gonna make you rich, but certainly you can do multiple inspections per day and get to a point where if you want to hit that $1,000 goal, you'll hit that $1,000 goal. If you don't want to hit it, you won't. But I'm telling you, it works. I've done it. I stand behind everything that I've ever recommended. I know for a fact that it works. And again, it's the difference between, you being able to repair your car, put food on the table, pay light bill. A lot of us are choosing so often between, paying rent or buying groceries, or, paying to get our teeth fixed and, paying, the light bill. Like, we're always making these honestly fucked up choices all the way around. Like, whatever we decide is going to be a disaster. And so this will help you get over that hump to get to a point where you can at least be not comfortable, but not just, struggling every single day, where you won't be broke every single time that you get paid.
Everybody, I'm talking to Danielle Pierce from economicelevation.com. And Danielle is talking about ways to make an extra $1,000 a month. Her website is economicelevation.com. I want to make sure everybody knows that. Somebody please type that in. Also, don't forget that Dr. Boyce TV is on iTunes. So if you want to download us on iTunes or SoundCloud, just go there and search for my name. One of the things one question I saw is someone mentioned or asked if you can name the name of the company for the mystery shopper. Did you mention a mystery shopper company, or did you just?
I did. Yeah, for apartment mystery shopping. Yeah, I'll give you one of the companies is EPMS. That's the name of the company. That's the website, EPMS. And again, you just sign up, and this works wherever you live, whatever part of the country you're in. They do this everywhere, in every major city, and of course some smaller cities as well. But it works. I mean, you could even start, today or tomorrow. And I don't get no money from these companies. These are not affiliate links that I'll be, offering for you guys in just a second. But these are just actually real companies that I've utilized that I know for a fact that they work.
Well, I'll say this, even if they were giving you money to share this information, it's fine as long as it's a win for everybody.
Yeah.
I think that we kind of we sometimes become really have extra scrutiny toward each other that I don't think we have toward the broader population. I think that when it comes to a Black business or even like One United Bank, for example, I don't even know anybody at One United Bank, but I asked around about it to find out more about the bank, because it's they say it's a Black-owned bank. I take their word for it based on what I've seen. I haven't seen anything to contrast that, but I noticed how people were really scrutinizing the bank, like, well, what are they doing about this? And what about their fees? And what about this? And what about that? And I've never seen Black people really do that with Bank of America, Chase, even Wells Fargo. So it doesn't mean that you shouldn't pay attention to the economic incentives, but just because you're winning economically by helping me, that does not mean that I'm losing. It does not have to be a zero-sum game where because you won, I lost. It's supposed to be a situation where you're winning and I'm winning. Or it's really on the contrast. If I'm winning and you're not gaining anything, you're not winning, then that's not fair to you. That's not, so like, for example, if a business is like, oh, we want to help the Black community, we're going to do everything, give everything away for free. Well, you should probably feel a little uncomfortable taking nothing but free stuff from a Black business, because you're putting that business owner out of business and you're destroying your community by being not a beneficiary to Black businesses. You're being a parasite. And we can't, a tree cannot survive if all they have are parasites and no nutrients are going into that tree.
Yeah, that's one of my soapbox topics. So I know we're not talking about this per se today, but I just want to go ahead and put this out there. I know for an absolute fact that giving everything away for free doesn't work. And I'm gonna tell you why. Like I said, I've been self-employed for 12 years. I have over the years done live workshops, live events, and given away a lot of free content, loads and loads of free content. And what I found unequivocally across the board is that every single person that I've given, a free program to, or a free course to, or free, just a free help to in any capacity, they're not any further along than where they were when I first gave them the free information. It has never happened. So people don't value free information. I don't even know why the expectation is that everything should be free when it really shouldn't. People do not value it, and they don't do anything with it. They just kind of like demand it and want it because of, I don't know, maybe just the psychological conditioning behind it. But I've never had any client that I've ever worked with do shit with anything that I've given them for free, period.
Wow.
It's not happened.
Wow. Well, I think that, to me, I think that we have to be cautious about seeing ourselves as a charity case anyway. You're not really going to get respect from the world if you're a community that will only spend money on stupid things. You know, because everybody knows Black people will go, you know, buy a new car, buy new shoes, you know, stuff like that. They know we'll buy movie tickets. That's why they're making Black Panther Part 2. So they're like, we're going to make another billion from Black people because Black people will buy a movie ticket, right? And so when you become known as a community who will only write a check for things that you want, but you know, claim poverty when it comes to things that you need or making an investment in yourself, then that's actually the term I created for that is actually what I call economic immaturity. Economic immaturity is where you spend money like a child. And you know, if you give, you know, $20 to a child and you say, what are you going to do with your $20? They're going to say, I'm going to buy a toy, I'm going to buy some candy, I'm going to buy something that's going to make me feel good. They're not going to be like, oh, well, I'm going to pay the light bill and I got some medical bills to handle. And you know what I mean? I'm going to invest it in my 401k. Like, you know, 6-year-old ain't going to do that. They're going to be like, where the candy at? You know? And so a lot of us keep that childhood mentality into adulthood, where you give somebody a bunch of money and they're like, where to liquor at? You know, I'm going to the movies this weekend, or I got my taxes back. I'm going to do fill in the blank, right? And it doesn't mean everybody thinks that way. I'm not saying everyone thinks that way, but I think that there is something to be said about the fact that we are notoriously famous amongst corporations for being the ultimate consumer. We love to consume. We love to buy things just to buy things. And and in fact, actually, I just did something. If you guys want to look for the video, it's on drvoicetv.com. I did a video on why you should never buy a new car. And one study I cited was a study in which, and this, no Black people were involved in this study. It was non-Black people talking to other non-Black people about how to get money from Black people. And one thing that they said is African Americans love new cars. So the translation is African Americans love to make horrible investments. So go get this money while they're giving it up cheap. Right? So we got to process this economic maturity. Please hit the thumbs up button. If you haven't hit the thumbs up button, please do that. I'm talking to Danielle Pierce from economicelevation.com. We're talking about easy ways to make an extra $1,000 a month. So Danielle, I want to ask you about this. You know, I'll tell you, when I think about, you know, the importance of making that extra $1,000 a month, I remember, you know, how just that little bit of extra money, even when I was making pennies, you know, it really meant a lot to have that little bit of extra money, because I found that when I had that extra grand a month, number one, that was 2 or 3 bills I could handle with that money, right? Which means that my paycheck, you know, that money could be allocated towards saving or investing in my business. You know, the extra $1,000, it relieved a lot of economic pressure. You know, it's like a lot of times we get to where our bills they match the amount of money we make. And when you have that little bit of ease at the top, that extra $1,000, it's like, almost like you can breathe easier. You know, it's psychologically fulfilling, you know, like, you know, less stress, you know, et cetera. And then the other thing that was really exciting to me about making that extra money for the first time was it was like I broke out of a psychological barrier. Up until I was probably in my 30s, I had never really imagined myself in a situation where I could not make money without having a boss or having an employer, right? So when I suddenly was introduced to this world where you can make this money and you don't have a boss, I was like, oh, well, I want more where that came from. Like, this is, you know, so it's almost like it's like a breakthrough in a way, because, you know, in fact, when I started, and then, so when I made that first 1,000, I was like, okay, well, let's see if we can get to 1,500. Let's see if we can get to 2,000. And then what happened was I still had a job while I was making the extra money. And what occurred then was I suddenly became, you know, less concerned about whether or not my boss gave me a raise. You know what I mean? I you know, every year we you know, when I was on the faculty at Syracuse, we'd have these big fights over who's going to get a 2% raise versus a 3% raise. And I remember saying to my chairman, you know, as a kind of an olive branch, I said, you know, don't worry about me. You don't have to give me a raise at all this year. Just give it to somebody else. And it was like me, you know, doing a favor for him so he could do a favor for me later. But it was the reason I felt that way was because I was like, if I want to make some extra money, I know how to go out and get that. They don't know how to do that. I know how to hunt now for my food. That all they know how to do is wait for somebody to come to the cage and feed them. That's a huge advantage. And what do you think about that?
Yeah, so you touched on so many, like, this is you speaking my language right now. So first things first, a lot of people like a Susie Orman or what's his name, Dave Ramsey. A lot of, you know, quote unquote financial gurus will tell you things like, oh, you're broke because you spend money on Starbucks every day. If you didn't go to Starbucks and spend $6 on a drink, you would be, you know, financially successful. And I'm speaking to, you know, I know that y'all hear me when I say this. Sometimes we have saved and scraped and pinched and shaved down everything that is possible to cut down. We don't have no more room, and it's still not enough money. How many of y'all can agree that that's the case for a lot of us? It's not that we tricking off money at Starbucks. It's not that we eating out every day. Some of us are bringing our lunch, not going to Starbucks. We are doing the absolute most that we can and still not making it. So if that is you, then you definitely are somebody that I'm talking to right now, because I know exactly what that feels like. When you watch people on YouTube and they like, oh, if you didn't spend your money on this, you'd be perfectly fine. You're like, bullshit, I'm not spending my money on this and I'm still not fine. I'm still broke. Right? So sometimes, a lot of times, the job is don't pay enough. And if you're making $8, $9, $10, $12 an hour, I mean, you can't make it nowhere with that. All that will allow you to do is basically barely pay your bills and then just, struggle and make it and scrimp and scrape until you get paid again. So with that being stated, it's not the fact that you're spending your money on dumb shit. Sometimes you just need more money. So if that's you, then these side hustles will definitely tremendously benefit you. And I forgot the most important benefit. You don't have a clock to punch. You don't have anybody telling you what to do. You don't have anybody looking over your shoulder. You have deadlines. Now you do have deadlines, but they're like, couple, 2, 3, 4, 5 days out. So it's a lot less stressful than what many of you are accustomed to. I haven't worked a job in a traditional job, let me say, in a very, very long time, but I know what that feeling was like when it's like somebody give you something to do and 30 minutes later they want to update. 4 hours later, they like, okay, what can you circle back and can you give us an update? Can you send us email? You're like, oh my God, can you leave me the fuck alone? Like, for real, can you like stop, pressing me and stressing me out? So these side hustles, you can still make, extra money, but you don't have that oversight factor. And then last thing, like you touched on as well, it will be less stressful. Many of you hate your job. Many of us have hated our jobs because, we need the job, but it's our only source of income. So when you just add, a couple more options to that, it does become less stressful. You realize you don't actually hate these people with your heart and soul. You're stressed because you need the job so much. So once you're able to see that you can bring in more money, then, like you said, a light bulb goes off. You're like, whoa, I did this. Let me see what else I can do in this internet economy. Let me see what else I can do with my cell phone besides being on Snapchat and liking pics on Instagram. Let me see what else I can, make happen with this. It's a mindset shift, and it is everything. I promise you, it's everything.
Yeah, well, everybody, I'm talking to Danielle Pierce, and we're talking about ways to make an extra $1,000 a month. Please hit the thumbs up button. If you haven't done that, please hit the thumbs up button. So let me ask you, Danielle, we've talked around the issue a lot, and you gave some examples earlier to make some extra money. How about this? I'm gonna throw out one that I've noticed that people have used that I think is really effective, and then you can throw out maybe one or two.
Okay.
But one thing I've noticed, and this may not come as news to anybody, but I've noticed a lot of people supplementing their income as Uber drivers, Uber and Lyft. I've heard so many stories, and whenever I get into an Uber and the driver is Black, I start talking to them and hearing their story. And it's amazing how many, transformation stories I've heard from people that, literally left their jobs to just drive Uber and are making more money, things like that. I think that's a good way to make extra money, even if you still have a regular job.
Yeah, I like Uber. I like Lyft. They can be a little bit dangerous though, depending upon where you live. There was one lady a college student who actually, this was in the news last week, and
Yeah.
she apparently got in the wrong car and was found raped and stabbed, I believe, about an hour away from where she got in the car at. Completely random. 19 years old, just got in the wrong Uber car. I'm not scaring anybody off from doing it, but you do have to be mindful about, letting, perfect strangers into your car. I probably wouldn't do Uber at night, but again, that's just me. I think you really do have to be careful. Another one that I like that I've actually done in the past is Fema inspections. There's a lot of stuff online and a lot of things where, a lot of fraudulent websites, to be quite honest, that tell you, oh, do this to be a Fema inspector, do this, do that. There's only 2 ways to do Fema inspections, only 2 companies to do it with. I know both of those companies. I worked with one of them. And Fema inspections now, they pay about, I think it's $31 or $32 an hour. And then they pay for all of your travel, airfare, hotel, if you rent a car, laundry. There's a lot that goes into it. So I'm a huge fan of doing Fema inspections. I made $15,000 in 2 months doing that. And that's also in the Side Hustle ebook. And so, yeah, it works. Now, got to pass background check. So you can't can't do Fema inspections without passing the background check. But if you good, I mean, it beats like, Uber and Lyft by far.
Okay, well, I like that. Now, just so people can know, I know. First of all, I see people mentioning, and I think this is important to mention, that the guy who was driving the car was not an Uber driver. He was some other dude who pretended. But and I assume that there's ways to. And really, if you think about it, she wasn't a driver; she was a passenger, right? So it does speak to the dangers that do exist in the world. But can we really blame that totally on Uber? I don't know. But at the same time, it does speak to the importance of being cautious and careful. Because our son pretty much got into a weird situation where he got into an Uber and the guy did not ask his name. He gave his name. He said, yeah, I'm Quincy. And the guy was like, oh, okay. And so he got in the car. Now it turned out this guy was just a cab driver who was running game apparently on Uber passengers by making them think they're getting into their Uber when really they were getting into a cab. And when he got to the destination, the guy asked for a credit card. And he was like, what are you talking about? So things like that can happen, right? So yeah, you got to watch out. And I mean, I think as a passenger, the etiquette is very basic, right? Make sure they, look at their name, look at the car, look at the license plate, make sure their name matches the name that's in there. Don't give them your name until they give you their name and ask your name. Let them tell you what your name is. You don't tell them, things like that. And then as a driver, I imagine there's precautions as well, but still, it is dangerous in general. And I agree with you on that. So let me ask you about this. Can you speak a little bit to this idea? I'm going to say something and then you're smart. So you always have something to say in response. So I'm not even going to ask a question. I'm just going to make a comment. One thing that that triggered me when you were talking about, getting lectured from people like Susie Orman or Dave Ramsey about how much you spent, it's almost like guilt tripping you. Well, the reason that you're in your financial situation is because you like to go to Starbucks. Or because you bought a pair of Jordans and that's why you're $200,000 in debt now. You know what I mean? I think that that's kind of unfair, and I feel like it's hypocritical. It would pretty much. I feel like I would be a hypocrite if I was just nagging the hell out of people about what they're spending their money on. And in fact, I make that 100% clear. Like people would say, well, I know, Doc, I bought some Jordans and I know that you're gonna get mad at me for buying Jordans. I'm like, no, because I actually own a pair of Jordans. And now they were given to me though, but still, I would buy them. I think I might have bought a pair too, right? And so my point at the end of the day to them is to say, look, it ain't about not buying Jordans or even not about not buying new cars. I think you should enjoy your money. I think your money should be a source of pleasure for you and not a source of stress and agony. That's why we brought in a therapist into the Black Business School to literally talk about financial anxiety. That's something I don't think there's a college class anywhere that talks about the psychological effects of money and financial anxiety. And it's rampant in the community. That's the number one source of anxiety. So I'm like, why isn't there more of a conversation about economic anxiety? And one of the things I can say is that when I was going through my own process of figuring out my own relationship with money, which everybody in here should, I remember thinking, man, I don't want to pinch pennies my whole life. I don't want to sit here and analyze okay, I spent $8.45 at the grocery store. I could have saved $3. I'm not that guy. I'm just not that dude, and so what I realized is I said, wait a minute, there's two sides to every coin. There's two sides to every equation. And so if you're running into a budgetary problem, you could keep chopping and chopping and chopping and taking what's there and making sure you preserve it and all that, which is fine. Or you can make up for what you don't preserve by finding ways to make extra money, right? You find a way to make an extra $1,000, then suddenly a lot of your budgetary problems go away because now you got an extra grand you can put into your savings or your investments. If you're investing $1,000 a month, you're good. You're going to be rich in 10, 20 years. Like no question about it. The mathematics says your family's income level, or you will rise up in your income class. You will go from the bottom 50% to the top 10%, top 20% of wealth builders, right? So what I just sort of concluded is that you got to pay the piper one way or the other, right? You either have to pinch pennies and save, or you got to find a way to make extra money, which will excuse, a little bit of financial gluttony that you might have on the back end, right? Almost like a basketball team, they can win games by either playing better defense and keeping the other team from scoring, or if your defense is bad, you better figure out a way to score a lot of points, right? And so can you kind of speak to that part of the equation? I don't see people talking, when people are financial experts and advisors, whatever, they're always talking about saving money, and they don't sort of emphasize the fact that if you just make a little more money, then that takes the pressure off of your need to save. You answer that question, and I gotta shut my camera down for a second, but answer that question, and I'll be right back.
Yes, absolutely. So with that being stated, totally agree with that. You cannot trick off all your money, number one. However, you do need to fight on the income side. That's what I like to say. That's what a couple of my, fellow financial experts, we like to talk about. You have to sometimes fight on the money side. You just have to bring in more money. I did an example. I did a video a couple of weeks ago, and I was talking about the millennial generation. Or was it Generation Y? One of these generations. And we always be so down, and we give them such a hard time. We talk so much shit. We like, oh, they want something for nothing. Or, they don't want to pay their dues. They want to come out and making all this money without having to, fight through the trenches. They want to be successful without, doing the grunt work. And we get so down on them, and we try to make them feel so bad. We make them feel like, they're fucked up in the head because of how they approach life. But what if I told you that maybe the millennials and the zennials, maybe they actually have a point? Maybe you don't have to spend 10, 20 years struggling, being dirt poor before you finally, quote unquote, make it. Maybe we're mad at them because they're how we used to sound. They sound how we used to sound. They have the dreams that we used to have, and they're holding on to them. And all our dreams are dead and crushed and gone and ran over by corporate America and life in America in general. And now we're mad at them because they want, they want a better quality lifestyle than what many of us have been able to achieve. And so we're mad when we see that. But maybe they have a point. Maybe they know something. They say you can learn something from everybody. Maybe they know something that we simply do not, which is that you don't have to. Who said you have to, be dirt poor for 20 years before you become a financially successful adult? Who said that? Why do we think that that's the norm? In this economy, the right partnerships, the right online course, the right package, the right product, the right, just whatever it is that you're good at, you can make some money doing it. You just have to figure out a way to monetize it. You don't have to be stuck struggling nowhere, making $9, $10 an hour, right? You don't have to do that unless there's just something that, you want to do, but I don't think anybody who's doing it wants to. I think they just don't know how to do it. So absolutely, you don't have to struggle first. I do think the millennials and the 20-somethings have a point. I rock with them. You can learn a lot from them. Their hustle, their insight, their grind, just the way that they approach life. And we can't get mad at them for, still having dreams and goals and aspirations that we no longer have, because life is beating the hell out of us and we don't have those things anymore. So totally agree.
Yeah, well, I like that too. And even the concept of retirement, I remember being in school and studying, 401ks and IRAs and retirement strategies and all that. And I remember, I'm 23 years old. I'm like, this is some boring shit to me right now. I know it's important, but I'm bored right now. And there's got to be a more interesting way to proceed to sort of analyze all of this. So, while I agree that initial information is extremely important, I remember thinking about things like, that you can actually do in this new economy, or with the new understanding that we have, or being creative about how you think about financial situations. And one of the things I pitched to parents actually, when I did a lecture on what I call a BEEP, B-E-E-P, but it's 3 E's instead of 2. It stands for Black Educational and Economic Excellence Plan for your child. I said, why not set your child up where they can retire at the age of 25? And it sounds insane, right? And now retirement does not mean you don't work anymore. Retirement means you just do what the hell you want. Like a lot of retirees, in fact, they tell you when you retire, don't sit around and just do nothing. Like, just go find some other shit that you always wanted to do, that you waited 40 years to do, right? And now you're old, so you're the number of things you can do is pretty limited. But basically retirement is pretty much where you're two things. One, you're doing what the hell you want. and 2, you're making money without going to work every day. That's all it is, right? So what I did with the parents is I said, look, if you got a newborn baby, like my niece is a newborn baby, I put together a financial plan with my brother, and I said, all we got to do is invest a certain amount of money for her every month in the S&P 500. And if the market continues to do what it's done the last 50 years, she will have enough money at 25, 26 years old where she will not have to go to work.
Yep.
No, so that doesn't mean she's going to sit still and do nothing. She's 25. She should be out living life. But this means she's going to be traveling. This means she's going to be running her business. This means she's going to have the startup capital and do what she wants. She'll be able to go take a class and whatever she needs. Like, she'll just have this freedom to really, truly live. And I can tell you that that's the best part to me I found about economic freedom, is that I was like, wait a minute, I get to actually live life now. Whereas before I had this plan where I was going to be dedicating 80% of my waking hours to a corporation that I don't even care about. Like that's a depressing way to live. And it's sad when somebody's like, no, but it gets great when you're 66 years old, like, I don't want to wait till I'm 66, So anyway, so I want to ask you a question. So you please feel free to respond to that. But I want to ask you this. Can you give like maybe another example of how to make some money? That way we don't get too sidetracked. It's my fault.
All right. So we talked about, of course, you mentioned Uber and Lyft. We talked about Fema inspections. We talked about apartment industry shopping. And the last one, that my last freebie for today, would be the property inspections for real estate brokers and for banks. Would be the last one. And then insurance inspections. We can just combine those together. So property inspections and insurance inspections. You don't have to have any special licensing. You don't have to have a real estate license. You don't have to do anything, there's no major requirements to it. You basically just go out and you pick your zip codes, and they tell you, we need these inspection photos. You go take the photos using your phone, because nobody uses digital cameras anymore. Some of these phones now take way better pictures than any digital camera could ever hope to take. So you just use your cell phone, you snap the photos, you upload them through some port or whatever they want you to do, and then they pay you. And you can do as much of these as you want or as little of these as you want. But again, wherever you live at, don't care where it is throughout the country, as far, even, throughout the continental United States, you can do these property inspections and get money. I'm not talking about the home inspections, like when you're buying a house. It's not like a 3-hour inspection. These literally take 10 minutes or less to get done.
Well, I love this. I love this a lot. And I'm going to say this. I know, Danielle, I know you've got a program at economicelevation.com.
I do.
On how to make extra money, as well as programs on tax lien investing and all different kinds of things. So the website is economicelevation.com, and tell us about the special program that you mentioned to me earlier.
Okay, so economicelevation.com is the place to learn about tax lien investing, basic business and marketing principles, and of course, repairing and maintaining foreclosed properties. But the issue that I'm finding with, not everybody, but a significant amount of people, is that they just don't have the money to get started right away. So for example, for tax liens, we went to, myself and my clients at the last auction we went to, we came away with, I want to say it was 20 properties it was 20 properties, and it was like $35,000 total that was spent between myself and all the people that I've worked with. But for some people, they just don't have that money to invest in tax liens right away. They don't have that money to start their preservation business right away. And so then I said, okay, Danielle, what else can you do? What other bright ideas do you have? And so then I had the idea to do this side hustle program, which again, very basic, very straightforward. It's an instant download. You can go get it now at economicelevation.com. Discount code is HUSTLE. You'll end up paying I think $90 for it. So it's super, super cheap, but you'll make that $90 back within 10 days. And if you're a hustler, like I am, or like many of you say that you are, maybe you'll do it even in less time than that. And it doesn't have things on there like Uber and Lyft, because everybody knows about that. These are things, again, that I've actually done that actually work. And just for me, deep dive on the internet over the years, I sometimes get lost in the internet. Like, if there's something on the internet to be found, I'm going to find it. And if I can make money off of it, I'm going to figure out how to do it. And so that's what I put in. There's over 30 different side hustles, different business ideas that actually work, very limited startup costs or no startup costs at all. And again, that's my give back to people who want to stack money to buy their first tax lien property, or get money to start their, business repairing and maintaining foreclosed properties, this is that middle ground. So if you don't have the money to do those higher, those bigger things, then you should start here. And if you can't come up with, $2, $3, $4, $5,000 in a matter of, I don't know, let's just say before the end of the year, then you're doing something wrong, because it definitely does work.
All right. So economicelevation.com. Now, did you give me a password or a code like that people use for a discount?
Yeah. So the discount code. So if you're looking to do tax liens and repair foreclosed properties, that discount code is going to be Elevate, and everything there is 75% off. But if you're just, you're like, okay, Danielle, Dr. B, I'm not ready for the other stuff. Let me just make some extra money. Get the side hustle program. That's like almost 70% off. And that discount code is the word hustle, all lowercase. Enter the code at checkout, and you'll have instant access to the material. And again, it works. I have nothing but 5-star reviews on it, and actually nothing but 5-star reviews on every course that I've ever offered.
Wow. So everybody, if you didn't get that, let me repeat that information. Economicelevation.com is the website. And if you want 70% off of the side hustle program, just use the code word hustle. Not Nipsey Hustle, but HUSTLE.
Right.
And if you want to get a discount on a 75% discount on the tax lien programs and real estate programs that she offers, which have 5-star reviews, which are excellent, you can use the code word Elevate. And what I like about what you teach and what you do is, number one, you know your stuff. You know it better than a lot of professors, because I've been around a lot of professors, and the one shortcoming of universities, besides the fact that they charge you, $30, $40, $50,000 a year, is also the fact that a lot of the professors, people don't talk about this, but a lot of the professors have never actually done what they're teaching. Like I can literally think about a real estate professor I knew who had not done anything with real estate, but they've done research on real estate. But that's very different from actually getting out there and having done it and dealt with the nuts and bolts of it. So feel free to go check that out, economicelevation.com. The code words are hustle and elevate, either one, depending on which program you sign up for. Please hit that thumbs up button if you haven't done that. And I want to say thank you to Stacy Doe for your donation. I appreciate that. Anybody who wants to support the growth of intelligent Black media, feel free to go to intelligentblackpeople.com. That's intelligentblackpeople.com, and become a patron. And we give you free stuff in exchange for your patronage. So it's not charity, it's an investment. Also, don't forget we're on iTunes and SoundCloud, and also on the 12th of April, we're actually doing the 24-hour flash sale on blackmoney101.com, which is our Black Money introductory program in the Black Business School, which is awesome. So be ready for that on the 12th. So anyway, thank you very much, Danielle. It's always an honor to speak with you.
Yes, thank you. Appreciate you having me on here.
Yes, absolutely. And you go live on FlyNewBeingQueenTV.com on what days?
Tuesdays and Thursdays, 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time.
All right. Well, I look forward to seeing that. And thank you guys for hanging out with us. Please please everybody, please hit the like button. Please hit the share button, share the conversation, and push Intelligent Black Media. We need your help. And that's it. So somebody said, is it hustle or hustle with two S's? Well, it's hustle the way it's spelled originally, not Nipsey Hustle. We ain't gonna take it. We ain't gonna infringe on his copyright. All right. So you guys take care, and have a great day. And thank you again, Danielle.
All right. Bye-bye. Take care.
Bye-bye.